Spokane man fatally shot by his neighbor, but was a crime committed? It has been 2 days since that fatal shooting, and tonight, still many unanswered questions about what happened. Police have made no arrests or said if any criminal charges will be filed. Spokane police do say the preliminary indications are a man shot who he believed to be an intruder at his home in the 6500 block of North Assembly. When police arrived, they found a man outside the home with a gunshot wound. He later died. KXY4's Allie Norton working for you. She joins us live from the scene tonight. And Allie, do we know the names of these people involved?
Not yet, Nadine. The family of the man who was shot identified him as Jerry, but wanted the medical examiner to release the rest. Spokane police have not released the name of the shooter, and they told me today that they're not sure if they will. That's because they don't know if he committed a crime. We tried to talk with the family that lives here earlier to find out what happened, but no one answered.
An array of questions still surround what happened at this house on Saturday night. The very little information from Spokane police paints a picture of a North Spokane woman calling 911 after her husband shot what he thought was an intruder. One of the many unanswered questions is what that intruder was doing before the fatal blow and if it was justified.
There has to be the immediate and otherwise unavoidable threat of death or grave bodily harm to the innocent.
Robert Smith teaches about the legality of using firearms as a defense. He served as an expert witness during the Gail Gerlach trial. And in that case, Gerlach shot a man who was stealing his truck. Smith explains that it comes down to if the shooter's actions were justifiable and reasonable under the circumstances.
It's not just enough to say I was in fear of my life. That's a common misnomer that gets bandied about a lot, and it won't take you very far in a court of law.
Police haven't told us those circumstances yet. The only big clues left at the scene were a bloodstain on the porch and grass and broken glass on the front window. The slain man's family told us off camera that he wasn't trying to intrude. Their house, just 3 doors down, looks very similar to the one where he was shot. They add that he just moved to the area and believe that he mistook the house as his own after a night of drinking.
Everything always is not as it appears. So until we have all the facts, which of course the police are investigating, it'll be difficult to make any kind of judgment.
And major crime detectives are piecing together what happened. They have conducted interviews from both parties and collected evidence up until yesterday morning. Reporting live tonight, I'm Allie Norton, KXLY4 News.